guys, and welcome to this video. This is something completely different from my usual beauty channel, which is why I'm posting this on the weekend. I always said if I did something that wasn't going to be beauty and skincare related that I would do it on the weekends. A number of you watched my Weight Watchers Freestyle, how I lost 23 pounds in 2 months video, and I would like to do some recipe videos, some cooking videos. This one is not very involved, but I thought, hey, not a lot of people know about this awesome way of making roasted vegetables, so let me sit down and tell you about it. But first, I will tell you why it is awesome. I feel like there are two different kinds of eaters and ways that they get satisfied or satiated. There are people who can have a couple of bites of something really rich and that will satisfy that craving that they're having. And then there are people who are more volume eaters, and I fall on that side of it a little bit. So for me, there's something satiating about eating a higher volume of food. It sounds bad when I say it. And having something to sort of munch on. So I would much rather have something that has fewer points, that feels like I'm eating more and my belly gets a little fuller, rather than, you know, eating a Lindor truffle for 4 points for a tiny little bit of chocolate. So oftentimes if I'm having something that is, you know, lunch especially, that has a few points, like I might make myself a sandwich with some scrambled egg in it, and some like Laughing Cow cheese for like 4 or 5 points, that's fine, but it's not a high volume of food. And so I often want to make something to go with it that is low in points or 0 points and feels like I'm having a little bit more. So that's what this roasted vegetable recipe is. I will often make this to go with whatever I'm having to up the volume of it and again, feel more satisfied. The other reason this is awesome is because you're going to be using frozen vegetables. And you may think that frozen vegetables don't roast well. I'm here to tell you that that is wrong. The great thing about using frozen veggies is you don't have to spend any time cutting them up or preparing them in any way. We're just gonna cut the bag open and dump them out on the tray. But also they are inexpensive. If you live in Canada right now, in the winter, I bought a fresh cauliflower the other day that cost $6. And that's bonkers. So I tend to do this recipe with either frozen cauliflower, frozen broccoli, which honestly I probably like a little bit more, or a mix of frozen broccoli and cauliflower. It seems to work best with those two veggies. So this recipe does not take very much prep, but it does take a little bit of time, about 45 minutes in total. The next reason why this is awesome, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit, is it is so easy. You don't need a cutting board, you don't need a knife, you don't need any prep tools. It is ready to go. So let me show you how I make it. So the first thing you're going to do is just pop your oven on and turn it up to 400 degrees, get it preheating. You don't need to wait for it to preheat, but get it heated up while you get the vegetables prepped. The next thing you're gonna do is just get your baking pan. What I use is this awesome baking mat that is reusable. It's a little bit different than silicone. I don't really know what it is. It's from the brand Cookina, and I'll put their website down below in the description bar. But basically things that are cooked on here crisp up, almost like you were cooking them on tinfoil or just on a plain prepped pan. But it's super easy to clean and just reduces waste. So once I put that down, I just do a quick spray with, I'm using an olive oil cooking spray. Really any kind of cooking spray will work. You just want a little bit of fat on there so that it helps the vegetables crisp up. Next, you dump the veggies out, spray a little bit more spray on top, and then I sprinkle it with a little salt. I'm gonna be honest here, the closer I get to my weigh-in each week, the less salt that I use. So if I'm making this for myself right after a weigh-in, I'll make them a little more salty, but that's up to you. And that's it. Throw it in the oven, don't even worry about it coming up to temperature yet, and set the timer for 25 minutes, and then go away and get on with your life for 25 minutes. When the buzzer goes off, come on back and just take those veggies out and flip them around a little bit so that different parts of them can crisp up, and then throw them back in for another 20 minutes. Once that buzzer goes off again, your veggies are ready. So you'll see there's going to be little bits of blackened edges around them. That is what you want. That is where the flavor is. That makes them taste roasted and delicious, and somehow brings out the sweetness in the veggies and just makes it taste like something that is more elevated and just more delicious than perhaps frozen steamed veggies would be. For me, I often put a little bit more salt and then just go to town with sriracha on it. Sriracha is especially good with the broccoli because it's kind of like a spicy broccoli. If you're not so into the hot sauce, and I admit it's a little bit strange on the cauliflower, you could also use maybe a couple spritzes of a butter spray, or maybe some nice fine herbs over top of it, or a little light sprinkling of cheese if you've got the points for that. Basically, the basic recipe of this is 0 points. Sometimes I put on enough sriracha to make it maybe a point. This is never going to be the star of the meal, but it's an awesome side. It's kind of like every time you go to a diner, there is a side of fries, and the fries is never the star of the show. It's just kind of volume to add to the meal, and that is what these roasted veggies are, is a awesome 0 point side that is tasty and is going to fill you up. So that is today's video. In the future, I want to bring you a couple videos around my favorite spicy 0 point chili, a awesome beans and rice dish. It's really a beans and cauliflower dish, which is delish and also 0 points. And then perhaps a delicious Indian curry that I make, a tomato-based creamy curry that is also fairly low in points. Let me know if you would like to see that or not, all down below in the comments. I do try to respond to every comment that I get. I am more than happy to answer any questions about WW Freestyle down in the comments as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!